I recently challenged myself to catch every shiny Mega Pokemon using only my Nintendo Switch. That's 47 different Pokemon across 9 games with no breeding and no catching duplicates in the same title. Now, I've tackled some massive shiny hunting challenges in the past, but this one, easily the most unhinged. This was definitely my most ambitious shiny hunting challenge yet, and somewhere along the way, I definitely took on some hunts I absolutely shouldn't have. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's rewind and start at the very beginning. With Legends Arceus set to release in late 2025 and Mega Evolutions finally making a full return to the mainline series, felt like the perfect excuse to do something I'd never done before: shiny hunt a complete set of Mega Pokemon. 47 Pokemon can Mega Evolve and be caught as shinies. That's more than double what I hunted in my last challenge, which already took over 300 hours, so yeah, this was gonna be big. Still, I wanted this to feel like a celebration of Pokemon on the Nintendo Switch, so I limited this challenge to just the games available on this system. This gave me access to 9 different titles: Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and of course Scarlet and Violet. And trust me, some of these games were much less kind than others. While I could have done most of this challenge in Scarlet and Violet, I wanted something that felt more like a journey across all of these different games, exploring their unique mechanics and shiny hunting methods. Some methods were fast, some were painful, and a few nearly broke me. That said, I also didn't want to still be hunting by the time Legends Arceus actually dropped. So I set a hard limit. With no more than 22, less than 50% of the 47 shinies could be caught in Scarlet and Violet. The remaining 25 had to come from the 7 other games. And this meant planning every target, every method, and every game down to the last encounter. And to keep things even more interesting, I also banned breeding. And if a Pokemon had multiple Mega Forms, like Charizard and Mewtwo, I had to catch both separately in different games. And that's when the difficulty really set in. To kick things off, I went back to where it all began on the Switch. Let's Go Pikachu. My first target was Mega Venusaur, which of course meant starting with a shiny Bulbasaur. A fitting scene back in Kanto hunting one of the most iconic starters of all time. Plus, several of the 47 shiny Pokemon you needed were exclusive to these games, so I figured getting some early reps in here would help later on. Or at least that's what I thought. Now, before we get too far in, yes, shiny Pokemon are rare, so here's how the odds work for this challenge. I've got the shiny charm in every game I'll be using, which except for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, brings the odds down from 1 in 4,096 to around 1 in 1,365. I'll mention any extra methods and changes to the shiny odds I use along the way. Shiny hunting in Let's Go works a little differently compared to the rest of the mainline games on the Switch. First off, shiny Pokemon in Let's Go appear directly in the overworld. No need to go into battle to check. If it's shiny, you'll just see it. That alone makes it still one of the most satisfying games to shiny hunt in. The main method here involves building up a catch combo, which is just repeatedly catching the same species of Pokemon over and over again. Once you hit a combo of 11, your shiny odds start improving, and at a combo of 31, you're maxed out. At least as far as the combo bonus goes. Combine that with the shiny Charmander max lure, and you can bring the shiny rate down to roughly 1 in 273, which isn't bad. Although these increased odds only apply to the very next spawn after hitting 31, so in most cases the best method is to just continue catching to increase your combo and hit that bonus again. There's also the bonus that Let's Go don't reset your catch combo when you run away from a wild encounter. So you can just combo your Pokemon of choice and then run from anything else while you wait to see the shiny. Now, Bulbasaur's a relatively rare spawn in Viridian Forest. I could have comboed something easier like Caterpie and hoped for a shiny Bulbasaur to show up, but I went for the more direct route. Now, getting a combo of 11 for Bulbasaur itself took around 90 minutes. And since it's a rare spawn, only one would ever appear on the screen at one time. Eventually, I did push the combo up to 31 about an hour later. At that point, I could have just run from each encounter, but I figured catching them was just as fast a method. Spoiler, it wasn't. This ended up taking way longer than I expected. I ran out of max lures, and naturally, I was broke, so I had to make a slight detour to get some funds. Now, over in Pewter City, there's an NPC who gives you a big pearl for just watching her slowpoke. The cutscene isn't exactly brief, but since big pearls sell for 4,000 Poké Dollars each, it's a decent trade-off. The only catch is, it's a daily event. And as much as I might look like I have unlimited time to wait around and babysit a slowpoke, I actually don't. Fortunately, the Let's Go games are built on trust. If you enter the local Link trade room, change your Switch system date, and back out, the game is just like, a new day has dawned. So with a bit of time travel and repeated slowpoke sitting, I was back in business. Once I stocked up on max lures, I headed back to Viridian Forest, comboed a few more Bulbasaurs, ran from the rest, and about 3 hours later, on a combo of 62, I finally found our first shiny of the challenge. The shiny is just Shiny Bulbasaur! It's literally just spawned in right under where we're walking. That is crazy. I'm a little sad that we didn't get to kind of see it in the overworld, but take that away. We've got Shiny Bulbasaur. We're off to a good start. It's not been too bad. We've gained, I don't know what the exact count is. There's Ball as well. That is awesome. 63 catch combo, not too bad. Bulba. I love the fact that we can run around with our Pokemon following us in this game. It's so awesome. Shiny Bulbasaur got great start to the challenge. This one was just a little over odds. Now, if I was keeping to Pokédex order, Charmander technically came next. But since I needed 2 shiny Charmanders for both Mega Charizard X and Y, I figured I'd get Squirtle out of the way first. It also gave me a bit of a breather after the Bulbasaur's grind, which was good considering what was to come later. So, keeping the Nugget Field momentum going, I headed over to Route 24, just north of Cerulean City. This is one of the few places in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee where Squirtle can spawn in the wild, though it's another rare one. Fortunately for me, I still had my catch combo from Bulbasaur active, which meant I could just encounter and run from Squirtles without needing to build up a new chain. Given how long Bulbasaur took, I braced myself for another multi-hour session, but surprisingly, this one didn't take long at all. Less than an hour in, at 118 encounters, a shiny Squirtle popped up like it had somewhere else to be. Shiny Squirtle! This one wasn't too bad actually. 118 encounters is not bad at all. It's so good in these games with the catch combo where it continues and we can take advantage of it going on to our next hunt. Sad thing is it ends now, so we're not going to be able to use this catch combo for the Charmander. Shiny Squirtle, there we go. It looks so good. I love it. I finally got Shiny Squirtle for the Shiny Mega Blastoise for this challenge. After the grind that was Bulbasaur, Squirtle felt like a gift. That look probably wasn't going to last. With Squirtle secured, it was time to go back for Charmander. I needed 2, and I could only get 1 per game under the challenge rules. Plan, grab the first one here and Let's Go, then get the second in a different game later on. Charmander spawns on Route 4, just after Mount Moon. It's another rare wild encounter, and since it was at Cerulean City anyway, it didn't take long to start building a fresh combo to 31. Rather than continue the combo when I reached it, I started running into Charmanders, then backing out, keeping the combo intact while hoping the RNG would show some mercy. And about an hour in, it did. A shiny Charmander finally appeared, and with that, we were halfway to our Mega Charizard pair. Shiny Charmander is finally here. We've got it. There we go. And that one, again, wasn't too bad. I love these games to hunt in. Gotta be a little bit careful. Give it that raspberry. And we'll try and nab it in an Ultra Ball. I don't have many of these left, but at least we've got... Oh my god. Come on. Come on. This time. Okay, there we go. Better. Better. I am terrible with throwing the Pokeballs in this game. There we go. Shiny Charmander for Mega Charizard X, which is great. So we got Mega Venusaur, Mega Blastoise, and Mega Charmander. Mega Charizard. Catch combo 32, which is great. So nice and straightforward. And we're on to our next one. Now, as per the rules, I couldn't just grab another Charmander in Let's Go, as tempting as it was with the catch combo already set up. 3 down, 44 to go, so it was time to pack up and move to a different game for our next target, Mega Alakazam. Abra appears in nearly every Switch game except for Scarlet and Violet, which gave me a few options. But this one was an easy choice. I wanted to use one of my favorite shiny hunting methods for this next hunt, the Poke Radar. Now, the Poke Radar is a key item that you unlock after obtaining the National Dex from Professor Oak in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Once done, you unlock one of the most rewarding and occasionally stubborn shiny hunting tools in the franchise. Originally introduced in the original Diamond and Pearl games on the Nintendo DS, the Poke Radar works in the same way in these faithful remakes with some actually better updates. You activate it in a grassy area, and up to 4 patches of grass will shake. Enter one of those patches to battle a Pokemon. If it's the one that you're targeting, catch it or knock it out to potentially continue the chain. The longer your chain, the better your shiny odds become, capping out at 1 in 99 if you hit a chain of 40. But like most things in BDSP, having the shiny charm here doesn't affect the odds at all. But there's a catch. Getting to a chain of 40 isn't easy. Even with perfect technique, you still have roughly a 7% chance every encounter that your chain could break for no reason, giving you about a 5% chance of actually reaching a chain of 40 overall. It's entirely possible to get to 39 and have it stop for no apparent reason at all, which is, well, a character building experience. Because of that, a lot of people use a different method, chaining to 17. This gives you decent odds, about 1 in 1986, which divided over 4 patches of grass gives you a rough 1 in 496 chance of a shiny appearing. Once you hit 17, you can reset the radar over and over by running 50 steps and reactivating it until a shiny patch hopefully appears. It's slower but more consistent and far less rage inducing than gambling on a full chain of 40. To maximize your chances of keeping the chain going, most people follow the 4 tiles away rule, always stepping into a patch of grass exactly 4 steps away from the character, and unlike the original Diamond and Pearl games, you don't need to avoid corners or edges. See, BDSP did give us something positive after all. With that in mind, I headed to Route 203, where Abra can spawn, dropped a save, a super repel, and started the hunt. Surprisingly, I managed to get the first chain going pretty quickly. After finally encountering Abra, I pushed to 17 and started to reset the radar, hoping for an early shiny. That wasn't the case. 2 hours later, I was still spinning in circles, summoning new patches of shaking grass like Harashima Sinju from Naruto. And eventually I got impatient and tried pushing the chain instead. In true Poké Radar fashion, it broke at encounter number 27, which meant starting all over again, and suddenly those vague memories of how painful a 40 chain could be came flooding back. Attempt 2 wasn't nearly as bad though. I got to 17 quickly, started resetting again, then decided to risk it again. Yes, I don't seem to learn, but this time I actually managed to hit a chain of 39. And I stopped there, began resetting, and again, about 30 minutes later, this happened. Yes, there it is. Finally, the patch is shining. We've got it. So we've got ourselves a shiny Abra. Whew, this one's been a long one. We have had to get to 39. I don't know if this was the right decision, getting to a 40 chain. It'd be interesting to see if it continues, but shiny Abra for shiny Mega Alakazam got awesome. I love it. It's such a nice shiny as well. It's kind of like one of those subtle shinies, but one I really do love. Get it in a quick ball, everyone's gonna love that, but a nice quick catch. And the best part about this, the chain didn't end when I hit 40, and I ended up walking away from this hunt with 8 shiny Abras. And it continues! Right next to us. Shiny Abra number 8. This is crazy. This has been a crazy radar chain, and for like the first one that we're doing for this challenge, hopefully the luck continues here on out for the rest of the shinies that we need. But shiny Mega Alakazam got. Definitely overkill, but hey, that's one of the perks of radar hunting. And during the Abra hunt, Pokemon announced the 2024 Halloween-themed Mass Outbreak event in Scarlet and Violet. These events usually promoted either boosted shiny odds or increased mark rates. Unfortunately for me, this one focused on the latter, giving every Outbreak Pokemon a higher chance of having the crafty mark. But there was a silver lining. 2 of the featured Pokemon were ones I actually needed for this challenge, Gastly for Mega Gengar and Shuppet for Mega Bannette. Normally, most ghost types are nighttime spawns only, but this event flipped that, letting me hunt them during the day. The catch, it only lasted 4 days, so I had to move fast. After finding my first Gastly outbreak, I knocked out 60 to max out the shiny odds, dropped a save, and set up a Sparkling Power level 3 sandwich for ghost type Pokemon, which is the usual shiny hunting setup for outbreaks in Scarlet and Violet. With the shiny charm, that combo gives you roughly a 1 in 512 chance per wild encounter of a shiny from the outbreak spawning. Normally with these increased odds, you see a shiny pop up pretty quickly, but not this time. In fact, it took 6 full Gastly outbreaks before a single shiny finally showed up. Finally got Gastly. Man, this one has been hard. I've never expected an outbreak hunt to be like so rough. I don't know if it's just I've missed Gastlys when I've been doing. They're hard to spot in the wild, so maybe I've just missed a bunch of shinies. I feel like with the odds that we've had, it's probably been the case, but at least we've got shiny Gastly for shiny Mega Gengar, literally an S tier shiny Mega Pokemon, probably one of my favorites, I think, from the entire set. happy to finally have it. Shuppet thankfully appeared in the very first outbreak we tried, so no complaints there. There it is, shiny Shuppet. Finally got it. It looks so good. I love the shiny. It's such a nice green. There we go. Shiny Mega Bannette. And another Mega Pokemon I feel is very underappreciated. I love Mega Bannette. One of my favorites. Neither had the crafty mark though, but with how long the Gastly took, even at the boosted odds, I wasn't about to re-roll just for a title. And while I was in Scarlet, I figured I'd keep the momentum going and shiny hunt a few more targets while I was here, getting shiny Camerupt, Houndoom, Blaziken, and Gardevoir. Look at that, shiny Gardevoir in the middle of like a group of routes as well, which is great. So that is nice and easy hunts in Scarlet and Violet, but great to actually get the Gardevoir. I kind of expected us to get the routes, but to get the shiny Gardevoir for this one, really nice. No need to evolve it, and locked in a Moonball as well. Super nice to match that shiny Mega Gardevoir. This brought our total to 10 shinies. I was nearly a fifth of the way there, but things were only just starting to ramp up. One thing I wanted to get a head start on early was the legendary Pokemon capable of Mega Evolutions. Out of the 47 Pokemon I needed, 4 were legendaries: Latias, Latios, Rayquaza, and Mewtwo. Mewtwo was extra special, not just because of its 2 Mega Forms, X and Y, but because under my challenge rules, that meant I'd need 2 shiny Mewtwo's caught in 2 different games. Unlike the non-legendary targets, I didn't have many options on where to hunt these Pokemon. Mewtwo could be shiny hunt in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Brilliant Diamond in Shining Pearl, and Sword and Shield. Latias, Latios, and Rayquaza were limited to BDSP and Sword and Shield only. Dynamax Adventures and Sword and Shield would have been the obvious play with its 1 in 100 odds with this shiny charm, but the drawback was the relatively slow encounters you got here. And I'd also done plenty of Dynamax Adventure raids in the past, and for this challenge, I kind of wanted to do something a little different. So instead, I went with Brilliant Diamond, using the post-game facility in Romana's Park, where all of these legendary Pokemon could be found. I'd never shiny hunt here before, and it felt like a fitting place to catch some of the most powerful Mega Evolutions in the franchise. Of course, it came with a few downsides. The shiny charm doesn't affect the odds in Romana's Park. The odds here are locked at 1 in 4096. You need a bunch of mysterious shards to even access these legendaries, and the load times are painfully slow, about 40 to 50 seconds per reset. So super appealing, right? Before I could start the Latias hunt, I had to grind shards in the underground and spend them on unlocking the Regis and the Johto beasts just to unlock the Eon duo. It took nearly a full day just to stockpile enough shards for the slates I needed. The slates themselves are a nice touch, modeled after old game cartridges, which can be inserted into different shrines across Romana's Park, each one opening up a battle with a specific legendary. The shiny method is a classic one here. Save in front of the legendary, start the battle, and if it's not the shiny, reset, repeat, forever. Now each reset took about 40 seconds, so I was averaging about 90 checks per hour. So to hit odds, that'd take me at least 45 hours, and that's if I was lucky. Spoiler, I wasn't. 8 days in and over 5,000 resets, I still didn't have a shiny Latias to show. And by this point, every extended loading screen just made me wish I'd gone the Dynamax Adventure route instead. It was one of those hunts where progress felt very slow, until everything changed on encounter 5349. Shiny Latias! Shiny Latias! We've got it! Finally! Oh, man, no way! This is crazy! Oh, man, we finally... I cannot believe we finally got it. It looks so good as well. Oh man, over odds, finally got. It felt like it was, this felt like it was never gonna happen. I cannot believe that we got it. Okay, we'll try it in a Premier Ball. Can we get it? There we go. Shiny Mega Latias. Yes, let's go. Poof, this one done. This one, serious slog. This was a brutal hunt and way longer than I expected. So rather than roll straight into Latios, I took a much needed break and headed back into Let's Go Pikachu. Up next was Kangaskhan, which appears in several Switch titles, but for this one, I wanted to hunt it in Kanto, its original home. In the Let's Go games, you can find it in the Rock Tunnel, just north of Lavender Town. Technically, it's not classified as a rare spawn, but with a 1% encounter rate, it might as well be. This made building a catch combo especially painful. For a while, I was just stumbling around in the dark, swatting at Geodudes like cave mosquitoes. But eventually I managed to combo up to 11 and the spawns started to come in more reliably. But Kangaskhan has a very low catch rate, which meant watching every throw and every battle animation very closely for signs if it was about to flee. If you can spot that early enough, you can run and then protect your combo, which clearly I didn't do with Kangaskhan number 17 as it fled, so I had to start all over again. By the way, whoever decided the Kangaskhan catch rate in Let's Go, I just want to talk. Luckily, I was able to rebuild the combo past 20 in about an hour and a half, and while using the ladder reset method between floors, this happened. There it is, shiny Kangaskhan. Finally got it. This one's been a slog and a half. The problem is now that I really need to catch it, and I'm not sure how it's gonna go. We've had some pretty rough catches in the lead up to this, and as we know, my ball throwing technique is not the best. So, oh my gosh, if this thing does the run animation, I am done. I don't know. I don't really want to have to hunt this thing again. Come on, come on. Right, there we go, there we go. Excellent. Please just lock it in, lock it in. Come on, I am terrible at these throw mechanics. Oh no, come on, just give me a break, give me a break. No, we need to do what's wrong with my controller? Right, okay, we got it, finally. There we go. Okay, shiny Mega Kangaskhan obtained. Finally, we can leave this cursed hunt. After literally a rocky start, this one ended up pretty smooth with all things considered. Now, before heading back into Brilliant Diamond for more legendary pain, I figured I'd tick off a few more Kanto exclusive targets in Let's Go. 2 Pokemon only available in this game or BDSP, Mega Beedrill and Mega Pidgeot. Beedrill was first. Weedle is a common spawn in Viridian Forest, and after building up combo to 31, the shiny showed up quickly after that. There it is. Nice and easy hunt. Weedle, we like you. And the shiny looks great. I love it. In the overworld, it looks amazing. Forget what shiny Weedle kind of looks like, just because it's just one of those Pokemon I don't regularly shiny hunt. But please got it. Shiny Beedrill and shiny Mega Beedrill are absolute banger shinies. So really nice to have this one. Looking forward to porting this into Legends here. Pidgey though, Pidgey made me definitely suffer. It's a common spawn on both Route 2 and in Viridian Forest, but after building up a combo to 162 and bouncing between areas for hours, finally appeared 7 hours later. Shiny Pidgey, there we go, it's here. Oh man, this is rough. This has been one of the roughest hunts that I've done in a long time in Let's Go. I think 200 the chain combo is 230, 231. Crazy, come on. We should nab it in this. There we go. Shiny Pidgey for shiny Mega Pidgeot. 232 catch combo. Crazy. Don't want any repeats like this. Let's Go might be one of the most satisfying games to hunt in, but it doesn't mean the hunts are always quick. With that, it brought our total up to 14 shinies. Still 33 to go, but at this point, I was starting to feel the momentum shift. Between farming more mysterious shards and Brilliant Diamond, I jumped back into Scarlet to get a couple more targets. First up was Sableye, hunted in one of Paldea's weirdest shiny spots, cave in the Northeast Province Area 3, where Sableye just drop out of the wall like a Pokemon vending machine. I dropped a Sparkling Power Level 3 Ghost type sandwich and sat there waiting until the shiny finally appeared. I think we got a shiny. We have. There it is, shiny Sableye. The golden boy, we love it. We love it. This one's not been bad at all, but this is why Scarlet and Violet is such a good game to hunt in. Nice and easy. When I need a break, I can come to these games and it never lets me down. Shiny Mega Sableye. It's a very cool Mega as well. After securing Sableye, I fast traveled to another cave located just below the Ice Wren Shrine in West Province Area 1. Set up a rock type sandwich and positioned myself just before the exit and used the picnic reset method to cycle through Larvitar spawns until our shiny from Mega Tyranitar showed up about 20 minutes later. There he is, shiny Larvitar for shiny Mega Tyranitar. Love to see it. Again, Scarlet and Violet, great. In a heavy ball. Perfect catch. No mark. But that was enough sitting around. I still had legendaries to deal with. Up next, Latios. Now, after going over odds with Latias, I was really hoping this one would be kinder. I even tried a few Dynamax adventure runs in Sword and Shield beforehand just to see if I could get lucky. But after an hour and no luck, I stayed committed to my original plan, and that was back to Romanos Park. For context, I started this Latios hunt on the 8th of November 2024. Now, if you fast forward 2 weeks, you might expect me to be showing you a beautiful blue shiny Latios and maybe a few other catches on top of that, but no. 14 days, 118 hours, and over 10,000 resets, still nothing to show. This wasn't just a long hunt, it was one of the most mentally draining shiny hunts I've ever done. I'm usually pretty resilient with these grindy hunts like this, but hitting nearly 3 times over odds combined with the slow resets and how many shinies I still had to go, it was definitely getting to me. There were genuinely moments where I wondered if I'd made this challenge too ambitious. I took a break for the next day and came back on November the 24th, 3 days before I was due to fly out to commentate at the Stuttgart Regional Championships. My goal was to finish this hunt before I left. And then magically on reset 11,212, this happened. Shiny Latios! Shiny Latios! Shiny Latios! Shiny Latios! Oh my! I cannot! No! Yes! We finally got it. We finally got it. Finally! Oh man! Nearly 3 times over odds. Oh, this is crazy. Crazy. I need to stop shaking. I need to stop shaking. This has been probably one of the hardest hunts I've ever had to do. Let's Premier Ball it. Two, three, let's go. There we are. Shiny Latios. Shiny Mega Latios obtained. Latios is genuinely one of my favorite shiny legendaries. In my opinion, its mega form doesn't get enough love, but after this hunt, it's definitely one I'll not forget about quickly. Brutal, honestly. But I still had 2 more legendaries to hunt, and both of them were in the same game. While I was in Stuttgart, I took a short break from the challenge, but things weren't exactly getting easier. On the way from the airport to the hotel, I managed to tear 2 ligaments in my ankle, which meant a trip to A&E once I got home and a stylish new support boot to wear for the next 6 weeks. Not ideal, but if there was one silver lining, it gave me the perfect excuse to stay put and make some proper progress. Still, after the absolute grind that was Latios, I wasn't quite ready to dive back into another 100-hour legendary hunt just yet. So I booted up Scarlet and went for something a little easier, Mareep from Mega Ampharos, using the town reset method. If you're unfamiliar, the town reset method is a fast way to force Pokemon to despawn and respawn by crossing the border between 2 areas. Step into one zone to clear all the wild Pokemon, step back to spawn a fresh new batch. With the Sparkling Power Level 3 Electric Sandwich and the Shiny Charm, this brought my odds down to around 1 in 683. And sure enough, about 10 minutes into this hunt, the pink cotton candy sheep appeared. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Pink Mareep. There he is. Looks so good. Not a long hunt at all. This one's been pretty kind. This was definitely a welcome change of pace after what came before. And just like that, Mega Ampharos was done. And right around now, as Pokemon Day 2025 started creeping closer, I was getting a little more anxious. Any day now, we could get new info on Legends EA and possibly even some brand new Mega Evolutions announced. I really wanted this challenge finished before anything like that dropped. Not just before the game launched, but before they even announced new Megas that could throw off my count. With 2 legendary targets still to go on BDSP, I dove straight into the next one, Shiny Rayquaza. After grabbing the Distortion Slate and quickly dealing with Giratina, I unlocked the Stratospheric Slate in Romanos Park, the one that gives you access to Rayquaza. And just as I was getting started, Pokemon officially announced a 5-star Shiny Rayquaza Terror Raid event coming in late December. On one hand, great free Shiny Rayquaza. On the other, it gave me this weird mental buffer like, if I'm still hunting this thing by the time that event rolls around, and I just go grab the shiny from there. But honestly, I knew I wouldn't be satisfied if that's how it played out. I didn't want an event handout, I wanted a full shiny hunting experience. I just wasn't ready for another Latios level grind. So this time I tried something different. I juggled a few hunts at once. There were 3 Pokemon I needed that were only available in Pokemon Sword and Shield: Mawille, Sharpedo, and Ordino. All of them were overworld encounters, which made them trickier targets. Sword and Shield actually has one of the most subtle and interesting shiny methods tied to its overworld spawns. In this game, although you can't see the overworld shiny Pokemon, so you have to go into battle against them each time, they can appear with a brilliant aura, which is like a glowing effect. And if you've battled enough of a certain species, those brilliant Pokemon have increased chances of appearing and better shiny odds. Here's how the mechanics of the brilliant Pokemon work. After 50 of one species are knocked out, your chances of seeing a brilliant aura Pokemon of that species jump to 1.6 times. And the shiny odds for those brilliant ones improve to 1 in 819 with the shiny charm. At 100 knockouts, the spawn chances double and your shiny odds get better again at 1 in 683. If you hit 500 knockouts, you max out the shiny odds to 1 in 455 on every brilliant spawn of that Pokemon. So the strategy was simple: knock out every Mawile I saw and always prioritize encountering the glowing ones, because those had the best shot at being a shiny. Whether I'd get lucky with it or Rayquaza was anyone's best guess. When hunting brilliant aura Pokemon, most people recommend knocking out around 100 as a solid middle ground. That was the plan at first. But after hitting 100, I figured why stop there? I kept going, 200 passed, then 300, and after 3 full days of snowstorms and knockouts, I hit 500 knocked out Mawiles. My odds were now maxed out at 1 in 455 for any brilliant Mawile. The process was slow. On average, every 2 loops around this grassy area would spawn at least 1 brilliant Pokemon, but they weren't always Mawile. I was also getting Snovas, Cubchews, and the occasional Ferrothorn stealing those brilliant slots. I knew this hunt would be tough, and it absolutely lived up to that expectation. The snowstorm made it harder to see spawns, and I had to stay laser focused the whole time just to spot a glowing Mawile through the tall grass. By the time I came back to it the next day, I was completely drained from the grind, but on encounter 642... Shiny Mawile! Oh, there it is! Nice shiny Mawile! Yes! Finally! There it was, finally. But now I had a new problem. I wasn't actually prepared for the battle at all. Encountering the shiny completely caught me off guard. My entire party won Volcarona, which meant if Mawile knocked it out, the shiny was gone. It wasn't like Scarlet and Violet where I could run, save, and then re-encounter it. If I ran from this battle or if it knocked me out, that was it. It was over. And what was worse, I had no safe way to cause status on Mawile to lower those catch rates. Volcarona's flame body had a chance to burn, but with the hail already chipping Mawile down, a burn could put it on a very short timer, so it was something I wanted to avoid. I also didn't have a Master Ball, so my options were pretty limited to say at least. In a kind of panic after realizing what the situation was, I started lobbing repeat balls, which I figured was my best bet under the circumstances, while frantically healing Volcarona between attacks. Every turn felt like a huge gamble, but after 10 nerve-wracking minutes, I finally landed a huge critical catch, and that is literally one of the biggest reliefs I've ever had for any shiny hunt I've done. After knocking out 500 plus Mawile and barely walking away with the shiny, I was really hoping some of that luck would carry over into Rayquaza, and that's exactly what happened. Over the last week between Mawile encounters, I'd quietly racked up nearly 2,000 Rayquaza resets in Brilliant Diamond with 0 results. But then on encounter 1,989, the unexpected finally happened. No way! Shiny Rayquaza! Ray! Oh yes! Oh, it looks so good! This one is way under odds. We're not even 2,000 encounters in. That is crazy. A shiny Rayquaza, and I'm so happy that we managed to get it, so we didn't have to rely on the Scarlet and Violet event. That is so good. Hopefully it's a nice and easy of course it's got rest. Of course it has rest. Premier Ball. Yes, nice in a Premier Ball. Color match doesn't quite get there, but we got Shiny Rayquaza. Shiny Mega Ray. The big win here was the under odds shiny that we managed to get in Brilliant Diamond. Way under odds, which was a massive win compared to the Latios and the Latios that we previously already got. And I need to just give a massive shout out to our newly caught shiny Mawille for summoning the Black Dragon a little sooner than maybe expected. After 2 of the hardest hunts in this challenge so far, it finally felt like things were turning around. For the first time in a while, I thought maybe this whole thing could actually be doable. But, of course, that didn't last long. Up next was Mewtwo, and unlike most Pokemon on this list, I needed 2 shinies, one for each of its mega forms, X and Y, and both had to come from separate games. Still riding the high from Rayquaza, I decided to keep the momentum going right here in Brilliant Diamond. I grabbed the Genome Slate and jumped straight into the next round of resets. But just as Brilliant Diamond gave us Rayquaza under odds, it made sure to take something back. Exactly 1 week later, nearly 60 hours into the hunt, I was still resetting for Mewtwo over and over. Absolutely nothing. Then finally on reset 6451, it happened. Shiny Mewtwo! Shiny Mewtwo! We got it! Finally! Oh my gosh! Again! This one, I hate Romano's Park. It's brutal. Brutal. Say I hate it. I don't hate it. Encountering these shinies. I can't believe it yet. We finally got it. Our first Mewtwo of the challenge. And probably the hardest Mewtwo hunt. I feel like I'm cursing this now. Premier Ball. And we snagged it. Another Premier Ball catch for one of these legendaries. I love the green. I love the green shiny. It looks amazing. With one Mewtwo finally secured and the rest of my legendary hunts in Brilliant Diamond officially behind me, or so I thought, it was time to shake things up. 21 shinies down, just 26 to go. New game, new region, new targets. For the first time in this challenge, we were heading to Pokémon Legends Arceus, one of my favorite Pokémon titles on the Switch. And what started as a simple plan to hunt just one shiny Pokémon turned into something entirely different once I arrived in Hisui. My target was Steelix. Mega Steelix has one of my favorite shinies as well. Sure, I could have gone for Onix and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or hunted Onix or Steelix in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but why do that when I could track down the towering Alpha deep in the Coronet Highlands? Alpha Pokemon, for those unfamiliar, are oversized, higher level versions of wild Pokemon that roam specific parts of the map. They don't really differ from others of their species beyond having better stats, a fixed spawn point, and looking way more intimidating. Oh, and they come with the Alpha Mark too. To shiny hunt Alpha Steelix, I used one of Legends Arceus' more unusual but surprisingly efficient reset methods. Here's how it works. Normally, Alpha Pokemon appear in fixed locations on the map, but when a massive mass outbreak takes over that area, it temporarily overrides the Alpha spawn and replaces it with the outbreak instead. So the trick? You defeat the outbreak in the area where your target Alpha normally spawns. Once it's cleared, you drop a save and restart the game. And like magic, when you boot back in, the Alpha Pokemon will reappear in that spot just like normal. And this is where the method comes in. After eventually finding a massive mass outbreak in the area where Alpha Steelix spawns in the Coronet Highlands, I cleared the outbreak and dropped a save. From there, it was just a simple soft reset loop. Load the save, check if Steelix was shiny, and if not, reset and try again. And if you're doing this yourself, a simple way to know if you have set this up correctly is just to check the gender of the Pokemon after loading in. If it changes between resets, you know you're on the right track. And if it's genderless, of course, you could just catch the Pokemon, check the stats or the nature, make sure that it is different each and every time you come in. Also, because I had a research level 10 for Steelix and the shiny charm, my odds were actually pretty solid, sitting at 1 in 819 for the shiny to appear. Not bad, especially compared to some of the soul-crushing odds we've dealt with in other games so far. And right around this time, remember that 5-star shiny Rayquaza Terrorade I mentioned? Well, it finally dropped. I picked up another shiny Rayquaza, and yeah, let's just say it was a whole lot easier than that one I found in Brilliant Diamond. Back in Legends Arceus, the Alpha Steelix hunt was actually a welcome change of pace. After all the brutal BDSP resets, just having faster load screens and the consistent hope of hearing that shiny sound every time I booted up made it feel way more relaxed. Each reset only took about 30 seconds, so I was averaging about 120 checks an hour, which wasn't bad at all. And honestly, Legends Arceus once again reminded me why it's one of my favorite games to shiny hunt in. And after a couple of days of casual resets, this finally happened. I heard the shiny Steelix. Oh man, look at this thing. It looks so good. Oh, yes. Shiny Steelix. Oh man, this has been actually all right. I have not minded this hunt at all. The resets have been fine. And just looking at the alpha, it looks amazing. Look at how good shiny alpha Steelix looks. Peak shiny hunting. Oh, come on. Another. Come on. This ball has got to be the one. There we go. Shiny Steelix. I was nearly at the halfway mark. 22 shiny Pokemon down. Just 25 left to go. Before diving deeper into Legends Arceus, I wanted to take care of a few more targets I knew would be trickier than some of the other ones. And at the top of that list was Mega Aerodactyl. It's always been one of my favorite Mega designs, plus it's the only fossil Pokemon to ever receive a Mega evolution. I'd also never hunt a shiny Aerodactyl before, so this one kind of felt like a fresh experience. There were a few games I could have hunted it in, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, or even Sword and Shield. But since Sword and Shield were the only games where Aerodactyl could be found in the wild, I started there. In the Crown Tundra's Giant's Bed area, Aerodactyl appears as a special overworld encounter. For those unfamiliar, a special overworld encounter refers to a Pokemon that spawns once per day. If you catch or knock them out, they won't reappear until the in-game day resets. That makes shiny hunting them a little bit awkward unless you get clever with the setup. There are two ways to do this. One is to save just outside of the Pokemon spawn area and then travel into it, encounter and reset if it's not the shiny, repeating until it is. A better option if you want to avoid the travel time is to preload the spawn closer to the character with a little time manipulation. And here's how you can do that. Firstly, I located Aerodactyl and figured out exactly where it spawned in the overworld. Then battled it once and ran away just to lock it in. Next, I dropped a wishing piece into a nearby raid den, selected invite others, doing this offline of course, and while that was active, I changed the system date forward by 1 day. Once I exited the raid and returned to the spawn location, at this point I saved the game, closed it, and set the system date back to the original day and reloaded the save. If done correctly, every time I reopened the game, a fresh Aerodactyl would spawn right in front of me, saving tons of time between resets. With that all set up, it got to work. Now with only the shiny charm boosting my odds here to 1 in 1365, I figured this should be one of the faster hunts in this challenge. But I was very wrong. 3 weeks, over 3000 resets, and still no shiny. I triple checked my setup, worried I'd made a mistake somewhere, but each Aerodactyl I caught had different stats, and the gender changed in between resets, so I knew it wasn't broken, just really bad luck. Hoping to avoid another Latios level marathon, I decided to change tactics momentarily. In Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you can revive Aerodactyl from Old Amber at the Cinnabar Island lab, so I pivoted there just for a little break. I also recycled a trick from earlier in the run to farm nuggets from the Slowpoke lady, using the same date skip method to quickly spawn over 30 Old Ambers from Cerulean Cave. Now armed with a bag full of Old Amber, I set up in front of the scientist in the Cinnabar Island lab and started button mashing. And because I'd farmed so many Old Ambers, I could just mash A to continuously revive Aerodactyls, checking each one as they were created. The pace here was amazing compared to Sword and Shield. Each revival took around 15 seconds, meaning I could check roughly 240 Aerodactyls per hour. That said, it wasn't totally seamless. Every 30 fossils I had to reset the game, which knocked off a couple of minutes each time, but even with that, the encounters flew by. There was one big drawback though. The shiny charm doesn't affect static revives like this. So unlike Sword and Shield, whereas rolling a 1 in 1365 odds, here it was back to full odds of 1 in 4096. Still, given how fast encounters were, it kind of balanced out. And after the absolute tragedy that was Sword and Shield's 4000 plus dry streak, I decided to stick with this method. And it definitely paid off, majorly. Just before hitting 800 encounters, we struck Rose Gold. Yo, shiny Aerodactyl! I'm pretty sure that was a shiny. I gotta check. It was, yes, shiny Aerodactyl, God. What a hunt this has been over 2 games. And Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is the game where we finally got it. Looks so good. So yeah, better odds don't always mean better results, right? Anyway, moving on, there was still a lot to do, and before diving back into some of the tougher hunts, I figured that it was a good time to head back to Paldea. So far in Scarlet and Violet, I'd found Shiny Gengar, Bannette, Camerupt, Houndoom, Blaziken, Gardevoir, Ampharos, Tyranitar, and Sableye. That left me 13 open slots from the 22 Shiny Pokémon I was allowing myself to catch from these games. I kicked things off with a sparkling power level 3 sandwich for steel types and headed to the Canyon biome in the Blueberry Academy. Just 15 minutes later, this happened. Shiny Scizor, there we go, Scarlet and Violet. These games make the shiny look so good. I love Shiny Scizor. I've never been a huge fan of it in previous games, but Friend Ball, there we go. And with half of the sandwich time still left, I quickly flew back to Paldea, specifically to the North Province Area 1, to hunt Lucario. There we are, Shiny Lucario, finally. For Shiny Mega Lucario, one of the best Shiny Mega Pokemon. After this, to round out the Steel-type Mega Trio, I went back to the Blueberry Academy, this time to the outer edges of the Polar Biome. My next target, Beldum for Mega Metagross. Now, whilst I was here, the first sandwich power ran out almost as soon as I arrived, but thankfully the second one did the trick. Shiny Metang finally got. Now, the trouble comes with trying to get this in a Pokeball. Come on, heavy ball. Oh, critical catch. No trouble at all. With momentum on my side, I stuck around in Scarlet and Violet to chase down a few more water-type Mega Evolutions I still needed. First up was Swampert. Mudkip spawns inside the cave systems of the coastal biome in the Blueberry Academy. And with how densely packed the encounters are in there, it didn't take long to find the shiny. Oh, it looks so good. Shiny Mudkip. I love it. Lure ball. Got nice. And still riding that sandwich power high, I then turned my attention to Slowpoke for Mega Slowbro. I flew over Lake Casaroya and used the roaming method, just gliding across the water, swimming between Slowpokes and the occasional Slowbro. And yes, this was on the Switch 1, not the Switch 2, so these spawns are pretty limited. Oh, Slowbro, shiny Slowbro, love it. Looks so good. And finally, before I dove back into any more of the taxing hunts, I decided to take a quick swing at one of the most unique shiny hunts in Scarlet and Violet. Level 100 Shiny Magikarp. Over in the Fellhorn Gorge area of Kitakami, there's a special pond where a level 100 Magikarp can spawn. You can only get access to it if you've beaten the base game, and even then, it's just a 1 in 37 chance that any of the Magikarp that show up will be level 100. This is a really fun throwback to Pokemon Platinum, where you could also find a level 100 Magikarp in the resort area, although the odds back then were way worse. With my sparkling power level 3 water type sandwich still active, I set up a camp on the edge of the pond and used the picnic method to quickly reset the spawns. And just as the timer was about to run out, we found our shiny. But it wasn't level 100. I ended up catching it anyway, of course, but to redeem the hunt just a little, I do have a technicality on my side. Shortly after the Teal Mask DLC dropped a year earlier, I actually hunted this exact Magikarp live on stream and did find the level 100 shiny. And we've got a shiny right there. There is our next shiny. Can this one be the level 100 Magikarp? This is number 2. Come on, 100. Oh, chat! It only took us 2, and we got it, the level 100 Shiny Magikarp. Boosh. Now is the question, does it have a mark? No mark. Very sad, but very happy that we got it nonetheless. This shiny is still sitting in my box to this day, so I feel like we could just swap them around for this challenge. And we kind of caught one anyway. Besides doing this, just means we can move on to other targets just a little bit faster. Now with 29 shinies caught, I felt like I was finally on the home stretch, or at least that's how it briefly felt. With 18 left to go, I decided it was time to jump back into Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl. This time I was going after Mega Manectric, using the Poké Radar once again. Once you receive the National Dex and speak to Dawn in Sangam Town, She'll mention her sister, who'll then clue in on daily Pokemon swarms happening across Sinnoh. Swarms are basically time-based events that bring rarer Pokemon into specific routes, ones that don't usually appear in the wild. There are 28 possible swarm Pokemon, and when you enter an area with a swarm active, the target Pokemon will literally pop out the grass to let you know that they're there. But here's the frustrating part. Swarms rotate once every 24 hours in real time, and if you try to skip ahead using the Switch's internal clock, the game will punish you by locking you out of all time-based events for another 24 hours. Even finding the swarm Pokemon you want can be a bit of a mission before the hunt even starts. Lucky for me though, the very first swarm I got was the one I actually needed, Electrike from the Valley Windworks. For consistency, I stuck with the chain to 17 approach, then just kept resetting the grass patches over and over, waiting for the shiny to hopefully appear. And about an hour later, this finally happened. We go, shiny patch of grass for our shiny Electrike. There we go. Awesome. This one's not been too bad at all. We definitely lucked out with the swarm, but we finally got it. And shiny Manectric, the shiny Mega Manectric, is such a cool shiny. There we go. Got shiny Electrike done. While I was in the area, I also went after another target I needed for the challenge, Aron, the pre-evolution I needed for Mega Aggron. Aron only appears in Brilliant Diamond, just outside the Fugar Ironworks. It's a radar encounter with about a 12% chance of spawning in the grassy area just outside the building. And this one wasn't as straightforward as Electrike, although it did start off with a huge surprise. My very first Poke Radar encounter, literally the first one, and not even in a sparkling patch of grass, I found a full odd shiny Shinx. It wasn't one of the targets for this challenge, but definitely something for the bonus box. And trust me, this was only the tip of the iceberg when it came to those surprise shinies. After that unexpected start, I finally got my first Aron, but the chain broke after just 8 encounters. It took another 30 minutes before I even found the next one to begin the chain number 2. Fortunately, this one got to 17, and considering how fast the first chain broke and how tricky Aron seemed to be to spawn in this area in the first place, I played it safe and stuck with the reset method again. But this one took a while. 4 hours of resetting later, just when I was seriously considering throwing the 17 method out the window. Oh, there it is, finally. Man, this one's been a slog. Just been resetting over and over, and I never thought we'd get it. I was so tempted to move on. I'm so close to moving on, just to progressing the chain. Shiny Aron though looks so good. I love the red. Ah, finally. Mega Aggron. Low-key, one of my favorite Mega Pokemon. I do love it. Try and get in a Permeable. Oh, come on. Permeable. Critical catch. Shiny Mega Aron. There we go. Shiny Aron got for shiny Mega Aggron. At this point of the challenge, we were just 1 week out from Pokemon Day, so the dream of finishing this before any potential new Mega Evolutions were announced, was definitely slipping away. Worse still, this is one of the busiest weeks of my year. It was time for EUIC, the European International Championships, the biggest competitive Pokemon event in Europe outside of Worlds. Once again, I was lucky enough to be asked to be part of the broadcast team, and this one felt extra special because for the first time in ages, I was reunited on the desk with my good friend and original casting partner, Lulu the Pikachu. So yeah, the next couple of weeks for me were going to be hectic, but I still wanted to stay connected to the challenge if time allowed it. The one shiny hunt I figured I could make progress on during the train rides, downtime in the hotel, or late nights between rehearsal days was the second Mewtwo. I'd already caught one in Ramana's Park and Brilliant Diamond, so my remaining options were Dynamax Adventures in Sword and Shield, or the original Cerulean Cave encounter in Let's Go Pikachu. And while the 1 in 100 odds in Sword and Shield were very tempting, I just couldn't pass up the chance to hunt Mewtwo in its original location. So on the train ride to London, I fired up Let's Go, made my way through the various levels of Cerulean Cave, found Mewtwo, and saved right in front of it. The method here was soft resetting. Unfortunately, resets were pretty rough. Each one took about a minute, thanks to the loading screens and Mewtwo's unskippable entrance cutscene every single time. Still, I squeezed in what I could. After checking into my hotel, wrapping up for the first day of rehearsals, I did a few late night resets in bed. And on encounter 281, we finally found our target. Now, there's no audio from this moment, but let me paint the scene. I wasn't prepared. My team wasn't optimized for this battle at all, and I quickly discovered my only real offensive option was Toxic. Still, I figured, no worries, I'll just stall it out. It's got Recover, I've got healing items, it's gonna be an easy win. Except I'd completely forgotten about one minor detail, the battle timer in the top left-hand corner. So the turns dragged on, I'm watching the health bar slowly tick down from poison, getting hyped that I'm about to catch a shiny Mewtwo live from my hotel room, when suddenly the screen just flashes white and this message appears. Mewtwo fled from the battle. Turns out if you don't defeat the Pokemon before the match timer runs out, you lose it. No shiny, gone forever. I had literally saved my Master Ball for this hunt and still managed to throw it all away. Fast forward to Sunday, EUIC Finals Day. Wolfglick puts in an all-time performance, becomes our 2025 European champion. That night after dinner with Wolf and the other casters, I finally mustered up the strength to begin the long road to reclaiming what I'd lost. Step 1, teach my own Mewtwo foul play, literally the only TM I had that could deal consistent damage while avoiding the timer issue. Tired but determined, I made a few resets and let's go to get the ball rolling. The redemption arc had officially begun. Now, once home with Pokemon Day 3 days out, I went super hard on this Mewtwo hunt, resetting for the majority of the time I had, and in the back of my mind constantly thinking how this one now would probably become one of those horrendous hunts that just goes on way too long after failing it after so few resets the first time around. But in fact, this one didn't turn out half as bad as I expected, as 2 days later on encounter 678... Oh, shiny Mewtwo! Finally! Again! Oh, I thought this one was gonna take way longer. After failing it the first time, now we cannot fail it. Foul play, let's see. Damage, damage. Ooh, okay, we 2-hit KO this thing. We've done this, we've done this. We don't need to worry now. We don't need to worry. Oh man. To be done with Mewtwo as well, it feels so good. And we got a Master Ball, so we're fine. We're fine here. Right, Master Ball, where are you? Master Ball. I don't think I can mess this up. I feel like I can't. Can you fail the Master Ball? It's a question. I don't even want to find out. Oh, for a minute, it smacks it away. I'm like, have we messed this up? No, we got it. We got it. There we go. Of course we can't mess it up with the Master Ball. Shiny Mewtwo. There we go. Oh, redemption. With both our Mewtwo's finally secured, one X and one for Y, Pokemon Day officially arrived. And sure enough, just as expected, we got a brand new trailer for Legends EA, with a loose release window of late 2025. Even though it was still only February, late 2025 meant I had maybe 6 months, probably a little more, but not much time to spare. Somehow that trailer didn't stress me out, it fired me up. Finish line was finally in sight, 16 shiny Mega Pokémon left to go. It was time to put the pressure on and close this thing out. First up, I ticked off a few more quick wins in Scarlet and Violet. Some hunts I'd been saving to push closer to that 22 cap. Shiny Swablu, there we go. Finally got. Meditite. I love it. The red is great. Hey there. Shiny Trico. Looks so good. I love it. Ah, this one is not taking long at all. It's great. Nice change. Shiny Trico for Mega Shiny Sceptile. Shiny Bagon finally got for Mega Shiny Salamence. But the final one I needed from Paldea was special. Back at the very start of this challenge, I caught a shiny Charmander and Let's Go Pikachu for Mega Charizard X. Now to complete the set, I needed one more. This would be shiny number 22 from Scarlet and Violet, And with that, my final allowed shiny from these games under the challenge rules. So with that in mind, I set up a fire type sandwich and went to work in the blueberry terrarium. And it wasn't long before shiny Charmander appeared. Shiny Charmander in Pokemon Scarlet. There we go for our second shiny Charmander. It looks so good. I do love shiny Charmander. The whole line's great. The whole line is great, so cannot complain. Finally locked up. Moonball. Shiny Charmander. Got. With Paldea officially complete, it was time to head back to the tougher hunts that still remained elsewhere, starting with now only 10 shinies left to find. First up, Ordino. Out of all the Mega Evolutions in this challenge, Ordino was one of the more obscure picks and only available in the Sword and Shield Crown Tundra DLC. In the Giant's Foot, there's a single special overworld encounter for Ordino that spawns daily. So I used the soft reset method for this one, saving just outside of the area where it spawns, traveling into the spawn zone and checking whether it was shiny. If not, reset and then repeat. With only the shiny charm affecting the odds here, I was sitting at 1 in 1365. Definitely slower than outbreak methods in Scarlet and Violet, but still was pretty consistent. And while I was grinding out that Ordino reset loop, I had another project brewing in the background, Absol. Absol appeared in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Sword and Shield. I preferably wanted to hunt it in Brilliant Diamond, but it only appeared either in the ground underground, which I really wanted to try and avoid, or through rare swarm encounters on Route 213. So the plan was simple, keep resetting for Ordino and Sword and Shield, and check BDSP daily, hoping that Absol would finally show up. 9 days passed, no Absol swarm in Brilliant Diamond, and no shiny Ordino and Sword and Shield, even after 730 encounters. Between streaming, other content, and trying to stay sane, I was only getting in a few hours of hunting each evening. The pace was slow, and at this stage, I had to start making backup plans. If I got Ordino before Absol ever showed up in a BDSP swarm, I'd just hunt Absol in the overworld in Sword and Shield instead. Not ideal, but at least I would keep the challenge moving. And yep, that's exactly what happened. We finally got it! We finally got it! Oh man, this one's been on and off for a while. Finally got it. I really thought it would go longer. Right, Premier Ball. Absolute banger shiny. There we go. With shiny Ordino officially checked off and still no sign of Absol and BDSP, I decided to pivot. Rather than diving into another overworld Sword and Shield grind straight away, I wanted to make some headway on a few shinies that would need tedious setup and a lot more patience. After how much I enjoyed the shiny Alpha Steelix hunt in Legends Arceus, I started thinking, what if I could line up a few more Alpha shinies to finish off this challenge? By now my Scarlet and Violet quota was full, 22 shinies exactly, so Legends Arceus was the best place to dig in. But if I was going to commit to more of these ambitious Alpha hunts, I also wanted to max out my shiny odds for these targets. In Legends Arceus, if you have the shiny charm and a perfect Pokédex entry for a species, your shiny odds go from 1 in 819 down to 1 in 586. A solid boost, and one I knew would make a difference over time. First stop in this game, the Obsidian Fieldlands. I had two targets here, Alpha Lopunny and Alpha Heracross, and while I was still checking BDSP daily swarms for Absol, I started chipping away at the Pokédex tasks. Now I'll be honest, these research tasks were pretty rough, but the silver lining was that most of the tasks involved catching or defeating the Pokemon I was actually hunting, so there was always the chance I'd randomly get lucky and find the shiny before perfection was even finished. Spoiler, I didn't. But something pretty special did happen while I was grinding out tasks for Heracross. One of the best places I found to knock out some of the more tedious research tasks, like seeing Heracross use Double Edge 40 times, or watching it leap from a number of different trees, was in the Coronet Highlands. Just beside the base camp, there's a solid cluster of Heracross spawns, making the whole grind a bit more manageable. On one visit, after knocking out the local population of Heracross, I checked the massive mass outbreaks on my map and spotted a Gibble one. Since Mega Garchomp was still on the list, I figured why not check it out. Now, one of the best shiny hunting features in Legends Arceus is massive mass outbreaks. These show up randomly when traveling between Jubilife Village and the various areas of Hisui, and the shiny odds, they're incredible. With a research level of 10 and the shiny charm, your odds jump to 1 in 241 per Pokemon. And if you clear the outbreak by catching or defeating all of the Pokemon within it, there's even a chance of a second wave spawning in. If the outbreak has a star next to it, that second wave is even more likely, and it can include fully evolved Pokemon or even alphas. Now, the way you handle the encounter, whether you're catching or knocking out the Pokemon, can influence how spawns roll in as well. It's one of the most complex but rewarding mechanics in any shiny hunt you can do. In most cases, if you put in the time, you'll probably end up with the shiny. I didn't have the time. My strategy was basically just go in, clear the outbreak, and hope I got lucky. Remember, I still had Heracross and Lopunny tasks to prioritize. My first attempt was pretty tragic. I got spotted early by a gang of angry Gible and Gabai, took a beating, and fainted back to camp. Once I healed up, I returned and decided to try and be a little more stealthy. Then, right after catching Gible number 5, this happened. No. Oh my god. I think that's a shiny alpha. I think it's a shiny alpha Gible. That was huge. That's okay. Oh my god. It is. Save, save. Shiny alpha Gible. No way. Okay, we can't mess this up. Let's just... Right. This one has to be it. Come on. God, shiny alpha Gible. We lucked out so hard on this one. I couldn't believe it. Not only did we stumble onto an outbreak, but we found a shiny alpha Gible. It looked absolutely amazing. I genuinely considered leaving it unevolved because of how good it looked in comparison to its shiny evolutions. But sadly, that wasn't an option for this challenge. Mega Garchomp though needed to be added to the collection. After that excitement, it was back to Heracross and Lopunny Dex grinds, as both still refused to shine. It ended up taking nearly a full day to perfect both Dex entries, but Alpha Gible and the other bonus shinies along the way definitely made this extra work worth it. With both Dex entries now perfected, I officially kicked off my Alpha Shiny hunt. The method was simple, but a little time consuming. Start from the Heights camp in Obsidian Fieldlands, fly south over Romanus Island, then cross the water into the edge of the Heartwood, where Alpha Lopunny spawns. If it wasn't shiny, which let's be real, it never was, I'd fast travel to the Fieldlands camp and head straight to the Grueling Grove to check the Alpha Heracross. Once both Alphas were checked, I'd fly back to camp, return to Jubilee Village, and do the whole loop again. Compared to most of the other hunts in this challenge, these encounters were pretty slow. Each full cycle took around 2 minutes, meaning I was only averaging around 30 checks per alpha per hour. This was gonna take a while. But honestly, I didn't mind. There's something especially cozy about Legends Arceus. The ambient music, the soft natural lighting, the way the world just breathes. It made the grind feel relaxing rather than punishing. Thankfully, Fate had a win in store though. On encounter number 312, our first alpha of the 2 finally shined. No way! We finally found it! We found it! Shiny Alpha Heracross! Oh man! It looks so good. Okay, we can't mess this up. Need to save. Come on. Let's get this. Oh man. Our first Shiny Alpha properly of this hunt. I would say Shiny Alpha Gible, but the Shiny Alpha Heracross looks so good. This is specifically the one that we've gone after, so can we lock it up? Awesome angle. Just the grass. There we go. We do get it though. We do get it. Nice. Shiny Alpha Heracross. Let's have a look at this thing. This is awesome. I've always wanted this shiny. Look at it. It's massive. I love it. I love Alpha Pokemon. They're so good. With Heracross now secured, I could turn my full attention to Alpha Lopunny. You'd think, now that I only had one target to check per loop, I'd breeze through this hunt. Even with the faster cycles, 2 weeks passed with no sign of that oversized bunny. I picked up another shiny Baneri along the way, the golden Geodudes continued to haunt me, bringing the count to now 11, and I even stumbled into a shiny Alpha Infernape. Not one of my targets, but a personal favorite of mine. Wait. Shiny Infernape! Shiny! Oh my gosh! Can we get it? Can we get it? We don't even need it for the challenge, but it's Lopunny. Alpha Lopunny's just not shining. Look how good it looks. Shiny Infernape. This is one I've wanted for the longest time. And who knows, maybe it gets a Mega Evolution in Legends EA. At this point, everything around the Alpha Lopunny seemed to be shining except it. I was definitely losing hope at this point and thinking about moving on to something else. Until finally, on check number 1411, nearly 3 times over odds, we finally hit the shiny. Please, please let it be. Please let this be the Lopunny. Please. Not a Bannette again. Come on. Come on. Please. It is. It is shiny Lopunny. There we go. Oh man, this hunt. This has been a brutal one. Drop that save. Drop that save. This has been I just never thought this one. And it's not like you can miss the shiny because you've got the shiny sparkle sound. So I literally know every time that I haven't missed the shiny. Not like one of the other hunts where it's a subtle shiny and you could miss it. I am so happy we finally got it. 2 shiny Bannettes we've got. Actually hunted it in BDSP as well. But we are not settling for anything other than the shiny Alpha Lopunny. I'm so happy. This is probably one of the best ones. This has been the slog. I love it. It looks amazing. With Alpha Heracross and Lopunny finally ticked off, alongside what was now half a box of unexpected shinies, the total count for this challenge hit 40. Only 7 shiny Pokemon remained. Before diving into the final Alpha hunts in Legends Arceus, I pivoted back to Sword and Shield to wrap up the last few targets there, especially since an Absol Swarm in BDSP seemed less and less likely after more than a month of daily checks. In Sword and Shield, Absol appears just south of the path to the peak in the area of the Crown Tundra, but only during a snowstorm. So with a bit of date manipulation, I forced the weather, set up the route, and got to work. This hunt was simple. Ride around, let Absol spawn in, and check for the shiny. Normally hunts like this can get very tedious, but with only a few shinies left to find, I had all the motivation I needed. And it was only a couple of days later on encounter 463 when we finally found our next shiny. Shiny Absol! We finally got it! There it is! Oh man, this one's not been half as bad as what I expected. I was expecting to go thousands of encounters deep, but this one, and shiny Absol looks so good. It looks amazing. Been a pretty chill hunt. And I feel like these hunts in Sword and Shield definitely giving me more appreciation for these games. Critical catch with the repeat ball. There we go, shiny Absol. It looks so good. With Absol in the bag, my attention turned to one of the hunts that I was weirdly excited for. Mega Sharpedo. If you've played the Sword and Shield DLCs, you probably already know how annoying Sharpedo can be when traveling through the open waters of the Isle of Armor. If not, just imagine the Gen 8 version of Veluza from Lake Casaroya, relentless, fast, and always in your face. But for once, I could use that annoyance to my advantage. And the method? Just position yourself in front of a Sharpedo spawn point in the ocean and wait. Yeah, that's literally it. Every few seconds, a Sharpedo charges at you like a torpedo and initiates a battle. If it's not a shiny, just run away, wait a few more seconds, and the next one will spawn in from the same spot, and you rinse and repeat. It was the lowest effort hunt of the whole challenge, and honestly, one of the most relaxing. I barely had to do anything beyond glance at the screen and just hit run, which meant I could finally start mapping out exactly how I'd tackle the final 5 shinies we needed for this challenge. And the very next afternoon on this hunt, on check 324, we struck gold with our next shiny of this hunt. Shiny Sharpedo! Finally! Yes! That purple! That pops! This has happened so quickly. So quick. And it's such an easy hunt. I would 100% recommend it to anyone. Get it in that dive ball. 3. There we go. Shiny Sharpedo for that shiny Mega Sharpedo. Awesome. Now, before diving back into Legends Arceus for more alpha hunting, there was still one more remaining target that had been bothering me since the very start of this challenge. Mega Pinsir. Now, Pinsir is a Let's Go Eevee exclusive, and I only had Let's Go Pikachu, so right away I hit a roadblock. I had a few other options, of course. I could buy a copy of Let's Go Eevee, play through the game until I got to Pinsir, and not ideal, but definitely doable. I also owned a copy of Shining Pearl, where Pinsir is another version exclusive in these games. Except I'd never actually finished my playthrough of Shining Pearl, and since Pinsir only spawns in the post-game areas, I'd have to beat the whole game first before I could even start the hunt. The upside, I could use the Poké Radar method once I got there. And the final option was in Sword and Shield, where Pinsir appears in the Isle of Armor DLC, technically the fastest route for me, but that method would rely entirely on an overworld encounter, which at this point was a last resort coming off the back of the Absol and Sharpedo hunts. None of these were perfect and each came with trade-offs. It was just a question of whether I wanted to grind for access or grind for RNG. So to save money and to avoid another overworld grind in Sword and Shield, I decided to finish my playthrough of Shining Pearl. I'd also need to unlock the national dex to get access to the Poké Radar, but with Pokemon Home, it wouldn't be a huge problem to do. Booting up my save, I quickly realized I had a long way to go. I'd only collected 3 gym badges. So first things first. I checked my Pokédex to see which Pokemon I still needed to see in order to complete the Sinnoh Pokédex. After about an hour of sorting and shuffling Pokemon over from home, I had all 151 registered, enough to unlock both the National Dex and the Poké Radar. A quick visit to Professor Rohan later, and not only did I get the full Dex, but Professor Oak also showed up to hand me the Poké Radar, task 1 complete. Now I just had to get 5 more gym badges, stop Team Galactic from destroying the world, and take down possibly the toughest champion in the franchise history, Cynthia. No big deal. And about 4 hours later of speedrunning, I was Sinnoh's new champion, so roll those credits. From there, I headed up to Snowpoint City, caught the ferry to the battle zone, and after a few more cutscenes, finally made it to Route 229. Time for Pinsir. Before jumping straight into the hunt, I went to the Pokemon to stock up on Super Repels, Quick Balls, and Repeat Balls, then dropped the save in the grass and fired up the Poké Radar. Now, I don't know why, but I genuinely thought the hardest part about this would be getting to the hunt itself. I couldn't have been more wrong. 6 hours later, I had nothing, just broken chains, 8 of them in total. Over and over at several different points. It was honestly brutal, and I'd be lying if I said the thought of just restarting in Sword and Shield didn't cross my mind a few times. Eventually, I managed to successfully get a chain to 17, and at this point there was no way I was risking another break, so I went the full 17 method, reset patches and hope for the shiny to appear. And thankfully, after just over an hour of doing this, Purple Pinsir appeared. There we go! There it is! Oh, finally, we've got it! This has been a slog and a half. There it is, shiny Purple Pinsir. I love it. I love it. Getting through the whole game, then getting to this moment, and finally getting the shiny Pinsir. This one's been one I've really been struggling to figure out how to do. Dusk Ball. 2, 3. Yeah, there it is. Shiny Pinsir. Awesome. Shiny Mega Pinsir finally got. It was a grind, but I'd done it, and now the final phase of this challenge was in sight. Only 1 game left to hunt in, Pokémon Legends Arceus, 3 shinies to go. Those Pokemon were Abomasnow, Glalie, and Gallade, and I decided that all of these shinies had to be the alphas. In Legends Arceus, all 3 could be conveniently found in Alabaster Icelands. It's like I planned it or something. Now you can find Alpha Gallade deep inside the Snowpoint Temple, in the far north of the map. But unlike other overworld alpha spawns, buildings or cave interiors don't load their spawns when you first arrive from Jubilee Village. They only generate once you enter that specific location. That meant I could use a traditional soft reset method, where I could drop a save outside the temple, enter to check the spawn, and reset if it wasn't the shiny. Sounds straightforward, but there was a huge catch. Gallade is located deep in the temple, and getting there from the entrance every time made each reset take over 2 minutes, which was not really ideal for this hunt. Thankfully though, there was a faster method to this. There's a back entrance at the top of the temple that places you much closer to Alpha Gallade. The problem here is you can only reach it in normal gameplay by traveling through the temple first itself, as it's just out of reach from any bravery fly point. But there is a little trick to getting around this. If you mount bravery, then mash Y, then the plus button and A in quick succession, you're able to gain altitude very slowly, but it means that you can reach higher heights than you would be able to just flying normally in game. The only catch with it is it's a very tricky method to get the hang of, and it took me around 20 minutes of trial and error before I managed to nail it and land on the roof of the Snowpoint Temple. Once I was there, I immediately dropped a save at the entrance to the temple itself, and then realized I hadn't perfected Gallade's Pokédex entry. And if I wanted to do that now, I'd have to go all the way back through the temple again, repeat that ridiculous flight trick again later on. So I, passed up on the opportunity to perfect the dex. The 1 in 819 odds with a level 10 Pokédex and the Shiny Charm would do just fine. I debated my choice for a while. Each reset still took over a minute, and honestly perfecting the dex usually did pay off. But thankfully, Gallade didn't drag things out on too much, and on encounter 450, it finally showed up. No way! No way! Come on, please be the Glade. Please be the Glade! Come on! It is! It is! It is! Yes! Can we snag it? Come on! I don't want to even have to battle this thing. There we go. Shiny Gallade for Shiny Mega Gallade. One of the coolest looking Mega Pokemon. Let's have a look at it. Oh, yes. And it's massive. It's massive. I love it. There is just something so special about alpha Pokemon. And when they're shiny as well, it just makes them look even more imposing. I really hope this feature is something that they carry over into Legends ZA when it drops later this year. Now with Mega Gallade, we've only got 2 targets left, Mega Abomasnow and Mega Glalie. Both alphas can be found in the Bone Chill Wastes, conveniently just ahead of the base camp with a direct flight path from when you come in from Jubilife Village. This meant I could check both in a single cycle, which saved a whole bunch of time. Before starting the actual hunt though, I needed to perfect their Pokédex entries to bring the odds down to that 1 in 585, and because they were close together, I could kind of work consecutively on both at once. After another long grind of Glalie using strong style moves and Abomasnow firing off energy balls 40 plus times, the entries were finally done. And again, along the way, I picked up a few extra shinies. With the hunt officially underway, it didn't actually take that long. Alpha Glalie appeared very early on check 114. Shiny Glalie! I think, oh my god, and it's the alpha as well. It's the alpha. We've caught 2 shiny Glalies when we've been in this area. Let's get it. It looks no different. The alpha eyes just throw it off so much. Right, there we go. Shiny Glalie and the alpha as well. Look how big it looks. Oh, amazing, amazing. And Abomasnow followed just a few hours after that on 274. No way! Shiny Abomasnow, we finally got it! This one was quick. This was so quick. We're like, what? An hour and a half, 2 hours after the Glalie? Let's stun it. No. Berries are not helping. Back shot. There we go. Come on. God. Shiny Alpha Abomasnow. Look at this. And the trio is complete. The trio from the Alabaster Icelands. Man. It looks so good. I love Shiny Abomasnow. Shiny Glalie. There we go. And Shiny Gallade as well. These alpha Pokemon, how big is Glalie? It's huge. Massive. Now with the final 3 alpha hunts done, we'd actually pulled over 32 bonus shinies from Legends Arceus while doing all of these alpha hunts for this challenge. So we're done, right? Well, Not quite. I've said throughout this challenge, the goal was to catch 47 shiny Mega Pokemon. But there's always been a bit of a grey area. Two Pokemon in particular often sit on the fringe what fans consider Mega Evolutions or not. Those two Pokemon are Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre. Now technically they undergo Primal Revision, not Mega Evolution, so I originally left them out of this challenge for that exact reason. But I put it to you, the community, and I ran a poll on the channel. Over 3,000 of you voted and 72% of you said yes, they count. So I guess I've got 2 more shinies to hunt. And thank you. By now, over 2 months had passed since completing the original 47. But with the launch of the Switch 2, all my save data had been transferred to my new system. And I wasn't about to redo an entire playthrough on my old Switch just for consistency. It was time to finish strong, and even if it was on a different console. The bonus of using the Switch 2 though was way faster reset times. BDSP didn't get an update for the Switch 2 like Scarlet and Violet did, but it still performed better, cutting load times nearly in half from 45 to 50 seconds down to around that 20-second mark. That meant more resets per hour in Ramona's Park, which was a massive win. First up for us was Groudon. Before we jumped into the hunt, I needed more mysterious shards, so after a little time in the Grand Underground, I was able to purchase the Tectonic Slate and began. At first this hunt felt rough, even with the faster resets, knowing I'd already complete the challenge only to come back again to Ramona's Park made the finish line feel even further away. But I stuck at it. And eventually, after a couple of weeks into this hunt, on encounter 3211, Groudon finally sparkled. Shiny Groudon! Finally! Oh man! No way! We finally got it! That's nuts! Under odds as well. Not by much. Not by much. And you wouldn't believe it. Disaster actually struck. Despite all of my repeat balls, luxury balls, and ultra balls, even at 1 HP and asleep, this Groudon refused to stay in the ball. Eventually, it started to struggle and knocked itself out. After this, I was ready to walk away and considered finishing the challenge without them at all, but after taking a night away and sleeping on it, I knew if I didn't get these 2 shinies, it would just always feel incomplete. So with that in mind, despite the hangover of the day before, I set out to reclaim Shiny Groudon. And going harder than I'd done any hunt before, 3 days later on encounter 1966, I got that second chance. The redemption! It's done! Finally, Shiny Groudon! Oh, we got it back. We cannot mess this up. We cannot mess this up, not this time. The weird thing is, I'm no better prepared for this battle than I was the first time. Timer ball, come on. Come on. We haven't messed around as much this time around. 3. Oh, yes! Shiny Groudon for that primal. And this time, actually managing to catch Shiny Groudon. This was brutal. I really hope the Kyogre hunt didn't go the same way. So with 1 shiny to go, I locked in the Oceanic Slate, dropped a save, and started the reset Boogaloo. And 4 days later, on reset 2796, the pink whale finally appeared. Shiny Kyogre! No way! We got it! No way! We've got it! Yes! Oh man! Netball, let's get it! 3! There we go! Oh, finally. Primal Kyogre. And I was done for real this time. After getting our last shiny of the challenge, I took the time to fully evolve every shiny where needed, transferred the whole collection safely into Pokemon Home, and sat back to admire what had become my proudest shiny hunting achievement so far. 49 shiny Mega Evolutions all caught on just my Nintendo Switch.